Tell her you are pathetic. I still like you though. Interesting, interesting. There's more interesting. I miss interesting. Sorry. Give it a push. Give it a push. You got to push. You got it. Oh! This is part two. Part two. What we got over here? Part 10. Creative thinking here. Who's that dapper dandy? Oh, that's got kind of. A lot of Italians. Let me get everyone's attention again. Chance to play, hopefully play a couple of holes. And here's what I'd like you to do next. By now you should probably have, or at least some people in your team should have this white sheet of paper. And on the one side of it, there are some questions. It says, reflecting on Junkyard Golf. And there are questions in three areas there that I'd like you to talk in your groups about for about the next 7 minutes. All right? So what I'd like you to do is just have a conversation about some of the questions on the back of this page, and then we'll after that, I'll ask some questions, do some final wrap-up, and we'll award some prizes. Ingenuity, or whatever the right word would be, people were in coming up with stuff. I mean, based on what you had to work with, how do you think people did? Yeah. See, there's a message in that, and the message in that is that there's a lot more than meets the eye. When we meet new people, when we see new situations, there's a lot more than what we might immediately think is there. And as people who are focused on being more successful, as people who are focused on being rainmakers, it's incumbent upon us that we don't look at what we see initially, but what we might be able to find if we look a little deeper. So there's one of the things I hope that you'll be doing tonight. I'm curious if there were any things that you got out of the exercise. If you look at the last question. First of all, before I do that even, did you notice that along the side I had questions in 3: meet, learn, and grow? Does anyone have any idea why those 3 areas? It has something to do with Rainmakers, and I think it's important that we recognize that those 3 words are more than just words that mean something in Rainmakers. Those are 3 words that can have a lot of impact on our success in any part of our life. And so what I did in putting this exercise together was think about how can I get you thinking about those 3 concepts: meet, learn, and grow. And when Tony introduced me with a lot of, some sort of interesting learnings from me, he did say something that was very important, and that is that things that we learn are only valuable when we apply them. So it's the last question on this page that is the most important. And I'm not going to ask you to share with me now. I'm hopeful that some of you talked about it in your small groups. The last question on the page is, what will I do different? What about the last 2 questions, really? What about this exercise reminds me of real life? I mean, you're not going to go play Junkyard Golf tomorrow at work, right? You're not going to do this with a client next week. But the question is, what about the experience can I use in my real life experiences? And that's one of the most important questions we can ask ourselves if we want to become lifelong learners. What can I take from this experience and use? How can I use this to help me be more successful? What will I do different because of what I've just learned? So that's the question that I hope that you think about as we leave. Now, before I close, I need Rachel to come up here, because Rachel's going to tell us who won with the most creative hole, and then I will tell them what they won. And so,
hey,
Rachel,
Tony.
Could you please tell us
Thanks.
who the winner was and why?
Hole number 12.